So let's make a turkey wreath. There is a turkey wreath that's been going around in my Facebook group, and this sweet lady named Karen has shared how she made it. So today, I know it's August 2021 when I'm releasing this, but guess what? You need to get ready if you sell wreaths. And that's why we're going to start this early. We're going to get into fall. So, ready or not, here comes Thanksgiving, and here's your turkey wreath. In my group called Wreath Creators and More, a lot of people were sharing a picture of one of my members' wreaths. Her name is Karen. And Karen, thank you so much for sharing this with us. She doesn't have a Facebook business page or sells the wreaths, but she shared with me how she made this. She was inspired by somebody else's wreath and kind of did her own thing. So we're going to thank Karen today for helping us. So thank you, Karen. We appreciate you. All right, so what are we going to use? We're going to talk about several things here because there seems to be kind of a shortage of crafty materials. So with this wreath, you can really kind of use your imagination and just kind of keep it within the colors of like a Thanksgiving turkey. So that would include yellow, cranberry, orange, even some greens and some more browns if you wanted to. So don't limit yourself to just this, okay? Because right now, I don't even know. I'll have to check if I can find a link for this. I'll leave it. But I've checked with my vendors, and so far, they're kind of hard to come by right now. This is something I had from last year. And so I'm just kind of using it, finally getting around to it, because that's what happens is I buy mesh and I don't end up using it. And so I'll have to wait another year. So, and then this is just a standard color. This is the natural color, and I've had this quite a while. I always have certain colors always in stock just so that I can make my kind of like standbys and everything, and that's one of my colors. So we're going to use these two different meshes, but I also have this one too. And I almost used it in this wreath, but I think I'm going to keep with the original creation, and she used this. But I thought this was pretty. So as I can show you, there are many, there have been many fall type plaid poly burlap. So I'm using poly burlap today. You could use Deco Mesh on this. You could use fabric mesh, okay? So we're going to kind of cover what your options are there in a moment. But the other thing is that Karen used an 8-inch wreath form. So today we're going to use an 8-inch wreath form. But if you had a 12 or a 10-inch, not a 12-inch, but a 10-inch, it would just make it a little bit bigger, and I think this would work just as well as well. So, sorry, I had to get my words in there. So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some leftover canvas. This is some that came from Hobby Lobby, but you can get it from the Wreath Shop, and I'll leave a link in the post below. This is the 5 count. I use it. You can get it usually like at Hobby Lobby and Joann's. I've not seen it at Michael's. You can get some at Walmart, but they're a smaller square. So I just prefer, I really do like the kind at Hobby Lobby and what the Wreath Shop sells as well. So all the places I love to shop are always in the description box below. I love the Wreath Shop. I love Trendy Tree. And the newest one I've added to my affiliate links is Mel's Crafty Mojo. And Mel will give you 10% off if you use my link and you use my coupon code Julie's Wreath Boutique. So it's important to use that coupon code. So anyway, so let's get started. What I'm going to do really first, and we've done this before, I'm going to cut this out and add it to the middle of my frame. So we're going to kind of skip that step, and then we're going to go to cutting our mesh. Okay, so I have my glass cutting board on my rotary cutter mat, and I always like to share this stuff with you guys because this is the kind of items that I order from Amazon, and you can order some mesh, and I have a list of it, but it's going to be a little bit more pricier. Now, this is a different one than I typically use. As you can see on the other side, just going to flip it over, it has that, you know, textured, and I just simply flip it over and you can use it. And usually these are a little bit cheaper than the like totally clear ones. And as you can see, you can still see your mat just as well. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut at least 21 of these pieces of mesh at 10 inches long. And we're just going to cut it with the wood burner. Make sure you wear a mask. It's always important to be safe when you do this. But you're just going to go in between the lines, and that's all you're going to do. It's pretty simple. So I'm going to cut 21 pieces of my plaid mesh. Now, if you wanted to, you could do yellow, cranberry, orange, and just do different colors in your feathers for your turkey. And you don't have to do what I'm doing here, but this is what I'm going to use. Now, if you were going to use like a Deco Mesh, let me show you what I think you should do with a Deco Mesh. Okay, so this is from another project that I've shared with you guys before, but if I was to do a Deco Mesh, let's pretend this is both the same colors, okay? To make a fuller piece of mesh, I would fuse two pieces together. So I would just lay them over top. So if I had these were two pieces that were the same color, or you could even do what I'm doing now and use different colors, I would just simply fuse them together. Now, do all meshes, are all meshes able to cut the same way? No. And I do have a video that I'll link below talking about how to reduce the fraying in your mesh. So what I would do is I would cut these at 10 inches each. And typically Deco Mesh is cheaper than poly burlap anyway, so the cost kind of outweighs itself. So on this petal, we're going to make a triangle, and then we're going to go down in the middle. And so then we would flip, okay? So what we would do is we would flip like this, all right? So if you use a Deco Mesh, I would just kind of double it up. It would make a nice thicker piece of material and you wouldn't see through. It's going to be a little bit fluffier than maybe our poly burlap here is going to be, but it is an option. So if you're struggling with finding materials, just know that you can use more than just poly burlap. Okay, so we have our 8-inch wreath form already prepped. I told you about how you add the plastic canvas in the middle, and we're going to take our 10 by 10 inch poly burlap, finished side on the bottom and finished side on the top. Okay, finished bottom. Okay, whatever, Julie. We're going to make a triangle. Then we're going to have an imaginary line, and we are just going to gather it. Okay, that will leave you that petal. But what do we want to do? We want to make sure that our curve is going up. So what I want to do is I'm just going to bring this bottom one up like so. And I want to make sure that that finished side is the one that's showing. So one's slightly over the other. I'm going to take it, and I'm not sure exactly where Karen started on hers, but I'm going to start about right here. And I'm going to start on wire 2. All right, so now I want to put one on the next bar. Again, we're going to get finished side, top and bottom. We're going to gather, and I'm going to look at this because I want that finished side to be the one that's showing, and then I'm just going to flip this one up. And then this way, it just kind of saves us a step, because you could cut this in half and you could put these all on individually, but I want to save a step if I can, because it just makes the wreath go faster and it's easier on my hands if I don't have to put all the different ones on there. So basically what we're going to do is we're just going to keep going. We're going to keep these pretty tight. See how tight that is? So we've got it all here, and as you can see, that finished edge is what we want. And I'm just going to keep going, and we're going to kind of go to about right here. So we're going to it's not going to go all the way to the bracket. We're not going to pay attention to the brackets right now, okay? It's all about the layer of feathers is what we want. So let's do one more. And I can't believe we're already thinking about Thanksgiving. Oh my goodness. It just feels like, remember, we're just going to hold that on and we're just going to flip it. All right. And then I'm just going to lay it right here. Okay, so as you can see, we have our first set of feathers, and I used 12 going all the way around, and as you can see, we left some open for the feet of our wreath. And so we're just going to do the same thing, guys. I put the first zip tie through the plastic canvas and came out on the other side of the wire there. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make a triangle. I'm going to gather it, and then you're basically just taking this side and you're bending it over and making sure that that finished edge is what is showing, okay? So we're kind of folding it over. And I'm not sure if Karen did it exactly like this, but she did tell me she used the petal from my poinsettia, And basically we went all in one direction, I believe, but I can't remember. Isn't that the way it goes? You make a wreath and then you can't remember how you made it. That's me in a nutshell. Yes. So if you ask me a question, somebody asked me the other day about a wreath, a sunflower that I had made, and it was on a 12-inch, and oh my goodness, I just can't remember. And I look at all these wreaths and all these videos that I've made, and I just feel so bad because my memory is just not there, you know, and I think a lot of you guys probably can appreciate that. So basically I'm going to just keep doing the same thing. I'm going to add, I think we're going to add about 9 petals here, 9 to 10 petals. We'll see. We just want to get over to this section. So however many that is what we will do. And I'm just going to keep going, and then we'll do the bottom portion of our little turkey here. And I think it's going to be super cute, and we're going to make the center, and I have a bunch of different supplies for that too. So just keep following me here. Okay, so I ended up adding another one out here and one here, so that made it 13 on the outside and only 8 on the inside. I just felt like it needed one more, so I just added it. So whatever you feel like you need to do, okay? So now at this point, we're going to put our daisy leaves, and basically all we're going to do is we are going to do another triangle, okay? And you can do it bottom, top, whatever you want to do, okay? It's really up to you. So basically, I always like to roll mine under a little bit, and then I just gather at the edge here, okay? So what we want to do is we want to now add some more daisy leaves, and I think what I want to do is I want to add it on this. You've got bar 1, bar 2, bar 3. So I want to add it on bar 3. And what I think what I'll do is I'll try to kind of tuck it under. So let me get it on here first. I want to try to tuck it under these leaves or these petals or whatever you want to call them. So let me cut this. Work at it, and then I want to just kind of layer it underneath. Does that make sense? So that it's underneath those petals. So let's do another one. And on Karen, and her name is Karen Hoyt, and she did, I believe she did about 6. And it's really kind of how many can you fit in there. I'm going to just do this again. Just going to go underneath. Then attach it, and I'm going to try to keep it as close as we possibly can. Okay, and then I'm going to put this one underneath this one because my finished edge is over there, and I'm just a stickler about, I used to not be this way, but I just want that finished edge. I just feel like it makes for a better wreath, and I think it feels like it will last longer too, if that makes any sense. So you're just going to add as many as you possibly can. I'm thinking I might be able to get 6 in here, so just hang on and I'll be right back. So here's another good reason why to watch the full tutorial, because Julie's going to say, you know what, this would be easier if I took this petal off, which I'm going to do, and then I'm just going to grab one of my chip clips. I'm sure I drive somebody nuts when I call these chip clips. And I'm going to just set it over there. And then I'm going to put another one of my beige or natural colored burlap pieces here. And I'm going to put this on first. And then I'm going to put that over top of it because I just want it to lay right. So again, that's what crafting is all about. You go back and you say, you know what? I think I can do this better. And this is where I think I can do it a little bit better for me. So I want it to look nice. So we're going to put this one here. So I think that'll probably be enough. That was only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 petals. So if you can get more petals, go right ahead and make it fuller. That's how many I could get, okay? So I think that's good. It just really depends on what you like and what you can get in the spots. And let's see here. I got to make sure I put this in the right. I got to put it back into the mesh there. And so now I'm going to put this one back where it was, but I just feel like instead of wrestling with it, I was just going to take it off and redo it. So let's make sure this looks nice. Okay, nothing Nothing is missing there. See? Boom. I feel like it looks better now, you know? I just feel like I would have struggled with that, and that's okay. We're gonna just keep going. So the next part is we're gonna make the cutest little face for this turkey. Okay, so I think that the body of our wreath is good. So now let's work on the little details. So we need a round face. So originally I was gonna take like a big sphere and cut it in half, and then it would have its rounded shapes, but I don't have one quite this big. And this is something that I get from the Dollar Tree. If you don't invest in these are just one of those crafting things that are really handy to have on hand, especially if you like to make any type of flower wreath. So I get these, they're 2-pack for $1 at Dollar Tree, a great investment just to have on hand. So you could leave it just like it is right now, but I'm not gonna do that. What I'm going to do is you can take two things. This is a little like drywall or foam reducer, and you can go on the side, or you can just take a knife and you can kind of cut an edge off of your foam. Okay, I'm not going to go all the way around, but you kind of get the drift. So I'm going to cut an edge off, and then I'm going to take my sanding block, and then I just sand it down just to kind of smooth it out. So that's what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to put some felt and some burlap on top of it. Okay, so one of the things that I always have on hand is felt by the yard, and I have a lot of burlap by the yard because I used to use a lot of burlap like this in some of my wreath designs. So I have, you know, just a leftover stash, but you don't have to do it this way. If you wanted to just paint this with like some acrylic paint, I would paint it if that's what you want to do. If you have like some brown fabric, you could use brown fabric, but this is what I have. So what I want to do is, first of all, as you can see, I've rounded the edges. I just like the softer look, and on Karen's wreath, she had the softer look too. So we're going to take a wire here. This is a 22 gauge long piece. I get them at either Michael's, or you can get them at any local craft store. Even Walmart will sell them. And I'm just going to go like so, and then I'm going to press that down, and I'm going to cut just a tad bit of a piece of felt here, and we're just going to glue it. So it would probably help if I had my glue gun. Again, I probably mentioned this before. Any of my tools you'll find in the description link for my Amazon shop. I have a whole list for wreath making must-haves and my favorite crafts or crafting tools. And this glue gun, this mat, these clippers, and my favorite scissors aren't laying around here really. Where did they go? Oh, here are some of my favorite scissors. This is a really great pair you can get on the Amazon as well, and we'll use that in a moment. But I'm just going to take a piece of felt, and I'm just going to glue it, and as just an added like barrier so that this wire couldn't come through. All right, so it's just going to just sit there. All right, so we've got that done. So let's now do the next step. And what I want to do, and this has got foam pieces from the thing I just did, the shaving. You're gonna think, okay, so at this point I want to just like, I'm going to wrap this in foam, and look at that. Let me show you a really easy trick. Something you should have on hand, and I need to take off the thing. But what I have are lint brushes, and lint brushes are great for your craft projects because sometimes we get little pieces of dust and all that on our mat, and this just like picks it up, and that went the wrong way. That usually doesn't happen, but that's really sticky. All right, it's doing its job. So I want to kind of show you what I want to do. So we want to cover this with the felt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay it back over this way. All right, and then let's see, this is the only rotary cutter I have close to me, and I know it's the edge that has that wave edge or whatever. The wave blade is, I think, what I like to call it. And again, that's in my Amazon store too. And basically you're going to start on one side here. I'm going to put it on this side. I'm going to put one side there, and you can grab some pens. This is what I have. They're the little T-pens to help kind of put it in at an angle, of course. Just help it stay. Okay, we're not going to need a ton of these. So I'm going to go to the other side, But if you haven't joined my Facebook group called Wreath Creators and More, make sure you join. All the links are in the description box below. And we'd love to have you. You don't have to be a wreath maker. You could just have a love for the crafts and just seeing them. And we would love to have you. But make sure you're following me here. Make sure to hit that subscribe button here on YouTube. And we've got some fun things planned for Christmas and fall. And I just can't wait to share it with you guys. Okay, so at this point you could be done. You could just use the brown felt if that's what you want to do. I like the look, this is making a lot of noise. I like the look of the burlap. I just like the natural feel of it. And as you can see, burlap is kind of see-through. So that's why I wanted to either, number one, either paint it or have a felt on the background. So I'm just gonna take this and we're gonna put it on top there. All right, so this is gonna make a lot of noise, and that's okay. So I'm just gonna start by taking my little pens and adding it in here. And I'm gonna try just to kind of make this as less, I don't want like little seams around our little turkey face, if that makes sense. And I like these pens because the T pens, I know they're for quilting. It just kind of, they make it so that they hold the pens in really good. So let's just like cut this off here. Okay, so as you can see, it's all good. I didn't add any glue. I just used those T pens. That's good to go. So I'm gonna take, you could take, if you have regular yellow burlap by the bolt, like I did with the brown burlap here, you could do that. I had this yellow, it's from Walmart, and I'm just going to cut about 5 inches off here, 5 to 6 inches. And I'm just gonna cut a piece. That's all I'm gonna do. You could use felt for this. You don't have to use burlap, but we're just gonna make a beak for the nose. So basically I'm just gonna start like rolling it from this side, all right? And there's just no real, you know, I'm just doing the best I can here. All right, I think that looks pretty good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop there and I'm gonna put some glue. Be careful with your fingers at this point, okay? So that's drying there, so I'm just gonna cut off. Let's just do it while that's drying. Okay. Again, if you don't like to work with burlap, use felt. Felt will do just fine. So let's look here. We don't want it too big. I'm thinking about right there is a good point. And you're gonna cut off the top there. I'm gonna add a little bit. It's like almost like, it reminds me of an ice cream cone. I'm gonna just like glue that together there. Again, this is just my suggestions. So what I would do is I would just take my little beak, I guess is what we were gonna call it, and we're just going to now glue it on to our thing here. So I was right, this is called Rick Rack, and we're just gonna cut off a few pieces and we're gonna layer them like so, so they go over top of that, the finished edge there. So I'm not sure what you call this on a turkey, but I think you understand what I'm saying. So I'm gonna just like measure them all out here. And what's funny about this is I had bought this at Walmart in their fabric section, brought it home, came to work here, couldn't find it, had to go back to Walmart and buy another one. So I'm sure I'll find all this when I'm done with this video, of course. That's usually the way it works. So let's just add a little, we're just gonna add, be very sparingly with this, maybe just a little bit more. I'm gonna add the first one there. These are the details. This is what makes this wreath so adorable. And I hope I do it justice. But you guys will ask in my Wreath Creators and More group, will you do a tutorial? So here I am doing a tutorial. But I want to make sure I cover all this. I may have made this little nose a little too wide, and that's okay. I'm gonna make it work. I'm gonna try not to burn myself here. Okay, so here's the thing. You could use, I have some black buttons here, but I'm just not sure. So I'm going to skip out on the black buttons. I'm not going to add them in to this one. So we're going to use these little googly eyes. And I just always want to make sure that this doesn't look, it looks right. So I'm going to try the googly eyes. You might like the buttons. If you like the buttons, use the buttons. So I'm going to glue these two here, and then we're going to make a little bow for the top because we're going to make this a girl turkey, just so you know. So I'm going to glue these and we'll do a bow. Okay, so we're going to take this really cute ribbon. I got it from Michael's, and you can use whatever ribbon you want. You could use a black color ribbon, yellow, anything, but we're going to use this because I think it's cute, and I don't want any tails for this. So basically we're going to start off with about 8 inches, okay? And we are going to come, let's see, no, let me think, no. I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to start at 5 inches, okay? And I'm just going to make another loop at 5 inches. I'm going to come back. And what I want is I want this to be a cute little bow. So we're going to make 2 more loops, and I'm just going to make a loop that's just a little bit bigger there, and another loop, and then I'm going to just take it and do another one to come out on this side. And it's just that easy, guys. It's not that hard to make a bow. So I'm going to just take that, and now I'm going to grab a little pipe cleaner. So hold on, I made this without having a pipe cleaner ready. That's not a good thing. You know what? I'm going to do something even better. I'm going to just take a zip tie, because I've showed you guys how to do this before, because we don't need a wire on the back of this. I'm just going to zip tie this together. Okay, so then let's cut it. Cut this, because I don't want any tails. All right, so let's look at our little bow. All right, and now I want to take a little bit of that ribbon, and I just want to go around it, and we're just going to go like so. And I'm going to glue that back there. I'm going to glue it. I know you're like, Julie, this isn't like normally how you do it. I know, but we're just gonna glue this on the face here. So I don't need to add more pipe cleaners or more wire or any of that. We just need that to dry now. Now she had the cutest little bow, let me tell you. I love the ribbon and all things about it. So I wish I had the ribbon she had, because it was a perfect little bow. So we're just gonna make that right there, and then we're gonna put her right here, guys. And I'm gonna put her off to the side because I feel like my face is a little wonky. So I'm just gonna glue her right to the top there. And I'm gonna put a good amount of glue. I'm gonna go down here. And I'm just gonna hold it down. Okay, so this is what we're gonna use for the feet. This is like a giant pipe cleaner. I got these from Michael's, and I will leave a link for that down in the description box below. And if I can find a link for that ribbon, I will leave that too, because that was super cute ribbon. And you can even get an 8-inch wreath form from Michael's as well. And I'll try to leave that too. So let's see, we gotta kind of pull it and make it straighter. So basically we want 2 little feet. So I'm gonna start with about that much. Let's see, I'm gonna take about, let's say 10 inches. Okay, we're not going to use that. It's not going to have that big of a leg. But what we're going to do is we're going to make a little foot here. So how many inches? That was about 4 inches. I'm going to make a little loop, and I'm going to, that's 1 foot. Okay, I'm going to take another 4 inches. I'm going to come back, and I'm just going to twist. I'm going to twist it around. I'm going to twist that. Okay. And we're going to do 1 more, okay? So another 4 inches. I hope you're following here. I hope this isn't too hard to understand. So, and then I bring it back, and then I just twist it, okay? And then that way, we've got the little, what do you guys call those? Guys, I was not raised on a farm. I don't have chickens. Probably will never have chickens. So, my friends kind of make fun of me. So, I'm just going to bend this. So you got a little paw. Is it paw? Chicken feet. This is a little chicken foot, okay? So there's one. So let's do this again. All right, so we have the body of our wreath. So let's put her face in here. Okay, we're just gonna put it through that plastic canvas. Make sure she covers all the spots we need her to cover here. I'm just kind of pulling her down a little bit. So basically you're just going to do the twist, and then I tend to just kind of pop the wires back in. And then we're gonna take, let's look here. Oops, I smushed her bow. I'll have to fix her bow. So now we're gonna take and let's look at her feet. All right, I think it's about, that looks about good there. So I'm gonna turn her over again. I can't talk right now. And I'm just going to wrap her legs around the wreath frame. And that's pretty much all you need to do for that. And then let's just make sure we're about the same. And I'm just gonna wrap. Now, when I was cutting out the felt for the face, I cut out a piece of felt for the back. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna poke holes and I'm going to attach that to the back of this wreath. And then you're just going to, you can either, if you want, you could even do this. If you wanna make a little hook for this wreath to hang, you could do that, and there's your hook. Or you can just do it from the wreath frame itself. So let's fix her little bow here. So listen, if you made it this far, and I know that a lot of you watch on your phones or your iPads, and I always ask you to leave an emoji. And what does the emoji do? It helps me know, and it helps my channel when you guys watch a video all the way through. It just helps me. So I really appreciate that. You're helping my family, and I really appreciate that. You have no idea how much that means to me, but I think she's super cute. And I just wanted to say thank you to Karen for sharing this with us. But if you made it this far, there's a turkey emoji in your phone, in the texting or your iPad. If you're not watching on a phone, or maybe you're watching on your computer, just say turkey. And that means you watched all the way through. But I think she's super cute. Let's see how far she is. This is about a 21 inch around wide wreath. So I think she's a good size. She's not too much. But listen, make sure you subscribe. I appreciate you watching me here, and follow me on all my social medias. Links are in the description box below. Until next time, we'll see you on Julie's Wreath Boutique. Bye-bye.